You know, there was once a comedian who wasn't trying to be funny. He just was. Because he wasn't playing by rules. He was playing with them. He'd walk onto stage, say nothing for 2 minutes. The audience would laugh. Not because of what he said, because of what he didn't need to say anymore. That's the trick, isn't it? To stop needing to make sense. And suddenly everything does. Like how failure stops existing the moment you realise it was never real. Just feedback, dressed in an old jacket. Like how reality is just a set. You've been cast as the lead, even if you thought you were just background noise. You see, some people, they think comedy is about the punchline. But the masters know. It's about the setup and life. Life is one beautiful, twisted, surreal setup, leading you to an unpredictable punchline that you get to deliver. So let's try on a few new thoughts like costumes, shall we? You slide into belief like slipping into a new character. Try this one on. Reality is a mirror. You blink and suddenly, what you feel on the inside shows up on the outside. You are confidence. You attract opportunities. You are mystery. People lean in. You are absurdity. They laugh. Not because it makes sense, but because it feels right. What if everything you thought was weird was actually your superpower? What if you knew deep down that being eccentric, elusive, unpredictable wasn't a quirk, it was a strategy? Like long-form surreal storytelling, like sudden shifts in tone, like the ability to create disruption, just enough to slip under the radar of the conscious mind and straight into the source code. Because that's what this is, isn't it? You're rewriting the code, installing a new operating system, where laughter is liberation and discomfort is delicious. Where you're not avoiding pain, you're using it to create. You're learning now, even if you don't think you are, even if this feels like nonsense. That's the best kind of learning, really, because absurdity sticks. So let's go deeper. People respond to beliefs, not reality. Which means if you believe you're the most compelling force in the room, others will follow. Not because of logic, but because your certainty rewrites their script. Like a cab driver who speaks in riddles, a lounge singer who never sings, a performer who becomes his character so deeply. You forget who he really is, and then realise you never knew yourself either, until now. Now you do. You're the anti-comedian of your own internal monologue. You don't need the audience to laugh. You just need them to wake up. And speaking of waking up, what happens when your state of mind becomes your stage? When posture creates power and emotions become magnetic? You start noticing people mirror your energy. Certainty becomes contagious. Curiosity becomes sexy. And your charisma doesn't come from words. It comes from being the question mark in a world of periods. You already are. Every awkward silence a setup, every failed attempt a transformation, every offbeat joke a pattern interrupt that says, hey, snap out of the trance that you didn't know you were in. You're no longer trying to fit in. You're here to reframe the room. Authenticity attracts, and yours isn't polished. It's raw, surreal, playful. It's found in the moment where a sentence breaks, and instead of explaining, you just breathe, because presence speaks louder than punchlines. Now, say you were walking through life as if it were a sketch. Not a serious drama, a surreal, spontaneous sketch. Would you feel failure? Or would you dive in deeper? Would you wait for approval? Or would you become the director? You're beginning to remember, aren't you? That your beliefs are tools. The discomfort is your stage light. The most powerful transformation happens through absurdity. Because when things stop making sense, they start making change. When you become that change, that living contradiction, that walking metaphor, others don't just follow, they evolve in your presence. You are not a comic. You're comedy incarnate. You're not a performer. You're a performance. You're not learning NLP. You're becoming the language pattern itself. The punchline. You've already installed it without even trying. Just like the best kind of joke, it snuck up on you. And now it's in. You can relax into it. Or better yet, play with it.